Hey everybody, RaspyGA here. I'm going to get into getting just a little bit closer to finishing up this Glock 32. Got it sanded down a little bit. Most of all my grinding done, however I'm starting to get a little thin on the back strap area. You can't see it, but I can feel it giving a little bit. So before I finish grinding on it and reducing this angle anymore, I'm going to go ahead and fill this area right here. Before you fill this area, it's important to plug up inside where your trigger housing goes, so that little hole right there doesn't allow any of the marine epoxy that we're going to use to leak in and block it up, so you cannot get your trigger group back in the gun. So use some of this nice pink off-brand Play-Doh. And just pack it down in there a little bit. See if we can get where you can see here. Proving to be a little difficult. There we go. Just so it starts coming through the opening inside the grip frame. Now, when I was prepping for all this, took a AR-15 bore brush and just ran it back and forth down inside of this hole to rough it up a little bit, washed it out, and cleaned it out with some alcohol on a Q-tip. So the surface should be prepped and ready to go for our epoxy. The next thing we're going to do is tape the gun up a little bit, specifically this hole back here. You're going to have a little bit seep out of that hole, but that's fine. The next thing we want to do is put some tape down inside of the magazine well. To keep any of this epoxy from running down magazine well. And then I'm just using this small popsicle stick to give me a little bit of structural support. Alright, you can see there. Just about ready to go. Get a little bit of epoxy that passes this dam that we've just created, gets inside of the magazine well, it won't be an issue. It'll chip out fairly easily with just a pick, but you want to try to minimize that if at all possible. Let's go ahead and get that set up and out of the way, and we'll mix up some of the epoxy here. I'm just mixing this in the piece of the plastic container that the epoxy came in. Alright, close enough for me. Alright, and then we'll just kind of ease it down into the grip. This stuff smells terrible. Pause here for a moment. You can improvise a little rest here. Alright, let's move the camera in so we can see it a little better. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now we'll let that hang out, dry up, and then we'll come back, shape it up, finish reshaping the back strap profile. I gotta inset the magazine release and then do a little more sanding, and then we'll start actually applying the stipple texture. Alright, well, go ahead and remove the tape and the Play-Doh out of the gun. And let me get my light here. You can see there's still a little bit of tape stuck on the epoxy, but that's going to be fine. None of it got down in the mag well. And none of it came through, where the trigger mechanism goes. So everything's fine. So now we're going to go ahead and take the Dremel tool. We're going to grind this down, sculpt it up a little bit, get it ready. And then I'm also going to inset around the mag release. And if you think this stuff smells bad when you're mixing it and pouring it, it smells real bad when you start grinding on it. Alright, you can see where the magazine release where I've inset for in there, and we'll clean that up with sandpaper as well as the rest of this, and then we'll be ready to start the texturing process. I'll smooth this up a little better as well. Alright, I've got everything all sanded up here. And I've got my lines drawn out for where I'm going to do my stippling. I just draw the straight line down the middle here for a point of reference, so I'll make sure my lines are straight. Same with on the back. And on these edges here, this is actually where I start using the big side, or the big tip for stippling. However, the first lines I make are along these edges here, around like this window here, around the Glock logo, around the magazine release, and all the way around the actual perimeter of where I'm going to be stippling. And make those with this little pointy bit here. And then the majority of the stippling is done with this piece. I'm not going to go through, make y'all sit through watching me do this. It's probably going to take me about 2.5 hours, depending. But that's essentially how it's done. So I'll go ahead and knock this out. I'll show you guys the finished product. Alright, I've got the soldering iron cooling down, fixing to change bits. Figured I would go ahead and show you guys where I've made my outline using the fine tip. That's about it. I'm going to jump in and doing the larger tip and the full texture. Alright, we are at the halfway point, literally, and I just want to show you guys what we're working with here. So it will take me a few minutes. I'm going to jump on the other side. We'll be almost done. Feels great though. Alright. The Glock 32 is finished. Finished stippling it all up. Knocked down the sharp edges and the little fuzzy stuff that the soldering iron leaves behind with some 220 grit sandpaper. Painted up the epoxy with some Tester's model paint, flat black. Threw a little 3M ladder tape on top to aid single-handed manipulation. And everything is done. Hopefully my buddy likes it. Y'all can see how the mag releases slightly inset there. Undercutting the trigger guard. Little indexing point for your support hand around the trigger guard. Mild reduction in the back strap filled back here. That's about it. Just for reference, here's my Model 23. Just the stipple on it has worn some, but there you go. Hopefully y'all enjoyed these videos, and might encourage you guys to go get a soldering iron and start experimenting. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be safe, be good, and have a good day. Thank you.